And so, hello there, welcome back to the Writing Advice Q&A. Today is actually going to be more of a vlog than anything else, because I have a really, not personal subject, but it's absolutely how I do things, so it's not really, it's as farthest away that it could possibly be from objective advice. Today we're going to be talking about, how is it that I have formatted my writing sessions to have the crazy word counts I do, apparently. If you are unfamiliar with my writing advice Q&As, I answer questions from viewers just like you. I do make it a point, though, to reply to every question that I get in the comments down below. So if you have a question, please feel free to go leave it down there, and I'll give you a reply. A quick one, as soon as I can. And I will add your question to the list of questions to be answered in a form of video like this one. This time around, I didn't get one question. I got a handful of questions from mutuals and people I knew on Twitter who were asking me, because I recently went back to posting my full word counts. But before I go there, I want to give you the disclaimer, as always. I'm already going to be talking about how I do things, but it doesn't hurt to just give you a full disclaimer. The following is merely just my advice, my opinion, and what works for me. Don't take it as gospel, take it only as the ramblings of a person who looks like this. Okay, now, the question that I got basically went like this. Hey Max, how do you write so much? Question mark. Now, if you don't, if you have a Twitter, I recommend you follow me at Mr. Karen. I share my word counts there, usually at the end of the day, and I also share inspirational bits, videos, like really quick, like 20-second videos, and images here and there, as well as whatever I'm up to. I recommend you will give me a follow. I've been posting this last week and the past one. I've been posting my word counts at the end of the day. Sometimes I miss days because I'm so busy. But I do usually post my word counts. And I usually, whenever I go back to doing this, I usually get the same question. And I tackle it on Twitter, but I don't think I've tackled it in a video like this one. So I'm going to do that. How do I write so darn much? Generally, I average out 6K a day. Please hold on. Let me explain. People ask me, Max, how do you do it? Because I can only do X amount of words a day, or, you know, on a good day, or X amount on a bad day, or generally I do this, or I do that. First and foremost, I'm going to explain step by step how is it that I do what I do, and hopefully give you a little bit of inspiration along the way, because sometimes I feel bad about posting the word counts, because it's not showing off, it's just me kind of checking out at the end of the day and being like, here's what I did, and talking about it, because I don't want to say despise, that's a really strong word, but I want to keep reminding people that you gotta go out and make art and get stuff done, and part of me sharing my word counts is to say, hey, this is what I did, this is how I did it, and I'm moving forward, and it's as much for me as it is for anyone else, so it's mostly for me, and also kind of as a nice way to check out at the end of the day after a long set of writing sessions. Just call it a day and move forward. Now, some of you may be saying, Max, that's a crazy word count, and I mean, yes, I understand that. It's weird, because, how do I explain this? I wasn't always there. It took a while, and if I had to describe like the 2 points that helped me achieve that, the first and foremost is finding what worked for me. I'm gonna talk more in detail in a moment. I'm gonna go step by step, but first and foremost, not just trying what other people told me, but also trying that and changing it to fit to what I needed. Everyone has different needs and different writing needs, and you have to find what works the best for you. What helps you be the most productive. I like to think of it as the idea of growing plants. Plants have different requirements. You can't just put a sapling in the ground and it will grow maybe, but if you put it in the right soil with the right amount of nutrients and the right level of water and sun, it will grow even better. So the goal of this video is maybe give you a little bit of inspiration to help you find the right soil, water, and sun for you. Okay, what are the things that helped me, aside from just finding things that worked for me? Discipline is also very effective. I used to be I used to tell people to write every day, and then I found out that that didn't work for me, for reasons I will explain in a moment. But I think that when it comes the time to write, sit down and actually get writing done, turn off your phone, disable Wi-Fi. I know it sucks, and I am a very fidgety person, so I know when I'm about to reach for the phone, reactively, like just to go check the phone, just to check something, to stay distracted, I stop myself. I just flip the phone or just put it in a drawer and I sit down and get writing done. Because the writing, it has to get done. If you don't actually put in the time, your book's not gonna get written. It's gonna take a long while, and it's gonna take even longer if you don't actually start. So having the discipline to just stop and say, okay, no, we're gonna get writing done right now, even if it's just for a little bit. The other thing that really helped me, and this is like the one thing that I have to clarify when I say those big word counts, like I have a little bit more time than most people because I'm doing this full time. Aside from the other projects that I do, I have a little bit more time than people, but time itself was not the only defining factor. I found during my own writing journeys that writing burnout is what kills me the most, what slows me down the most. If I get burnt out on writing, it takes me a while to get back up, or it completely just kills my my output, if I must put it like that. So once I realized, and it took me a while, once I realized, wait a minute, every time I get burnt out on doing lots of writing, I just kind of like stop, and it takes me like days to get back into it, or I start looking for distractions, or I just lose all creativity. So how can I prevent that? And what I ended up doing for that was format my week into only having certain writing days in which I did nothing but writing, and inside those days, writing in sessions. So instead of just sitting down at the beginning of the day to say, I'm gonna write for X number of hours, it would be I would write for a session and then work on other things, and then come back and get some more writing done, and then work on other stuff, take a break, and then move on from there. It wasn't just get up in the morning and look at this enormous block of all the writing you gotta do, because that's a psychological thing that would slow me down forever, but also reminding myself that there are other things along the way, things that I have to do. And that helped me break down the not only psychological fear of so much work that has to happen, but also additionally helped me break it up into bite-sized chunks, if you could say. Smaller writing sessions throughout the day so that I wouldn't get super burnt out, and I wouldn't end up at the end of the day just being incredibly tired. So far, probably the most useless thing I've told you is time, because you either have to make sacrifices, or you have it, or you have to look for it. It's probably least useful, but the hardest one of them, because yeah, you have to make sacrifices, especially when you're getting started. Finding what works the most for you. A lot of experimentation is fine. Try things out for a couple of weeks, change it up, see what works, see what doesn't. I can't tell you what's the best. You have to find that out for yourself. Discipline also helped. And lastly, what I think is the most useful piece of advice in this whole thing, and the thing that helped me out the most, was reminding myself to never, ever, ever, ever stop in the middle of writing to edit. Never. Nothing slows down your momentum in the act of writing like stopping to go revise a previous sentence, or noticing that you misspelled a word 3 paragraphs previously and going back to fix it. It doesn't matter. As someone who's gone through this entire process multiple times, it doesn't matter. I wish maybe someday I will share my first draft so people see exactly how awful they look. I have misspelled words all the time. There are words that I cannot ever type correctly, like apartment. I just never get that right. I always put 2 P's in it for some reason. I don't know why my brain does that. Or wheeled versus weld. Like, those words are always just mystifying to me. Or appearance, that's another really bad word. But I don't worry about it. I just type it and I just keep going. I write without hesitation, without doubt, without fear. Just write it. Just get it on the page, edit it later. The very first step of every revision that I do is just plug my manuscript into MS Word and just spell check every single thing in it. And within the course of an hour, all of that work is taken care of. Instead, I spend 1 hour at the beginning of revision instead of spending the entire writing process going back to fix things. It doesn't matter. I know it sounds terrifying and incredibly radical. It doesn't matter that there's typos in your first draft. And I'm gonna say something really rude, okay? And I hope you understand. Nobody cares. No one cares what your first draft looks like. No one cares. Because no one is going to read it. I need you to understand, internalize, every book that you like, every book that you loved, had typos in the first draft. It's okay. You didn't read that book because the author polished it, revised it into what you read. It's okay. The time is useful. Finding what works for you is useful. Discipline helps not get distracted. What helped me the most, and what helps me to this day, is being in the middle of writing and feeling that sensation of wanting to go back to fix something, or realizing, wait a minute, this plot element doesn't make as much sense. Should I go back and fix chapter 3 and 5? No. Make a note of anything that bothers you. Make a note of anything that you think maybe should require looking at later. And keep writing. Whatever it is that bothers you, whatever it is that you think is gonna be a problem, it can be fixed later. And I know I was really rude there for a moment, but I can assure you, nobody cares what your first draft looks like. And nobody will care, because if you revise it and you polish it and you get it published, it won't matter what it looked like, because what it started out and what it became is completely different. There are two completely entities at that point, and that's okay. Okay? I hope this video was insightful. How do I get so much darn writing done? I have a little bit more time than most people. That's definitely one. I found what worked the best for me. I most of the time had the discipline to turn the phone off and don't let it distract me. And I have learned over the years that I don't have to worry about editing things. I don't have to worry about fixing things there and there. All of my writing files, at the bottom of the writing, I just have a line and I have a section titled Notes. In every single chapter, you know, I think maybe chapter 3 I should revise what this character looks like. Did I describe what the apartment looked like in chapter 5? Did I do this in chapter 6? Wait a minute. Have a global note. Check every time I wrote this word. Did I use the other word instead? You don't have to go back and fix this. You don't have to do a massive Control F and search all of the instances you used borrowed instead of borrowed. It's okay, because you'll fix it later. Okay? Okay, I hope this video was insightful, and I hope that if anything, I gave you another point of view. For the time being, I want to thank you for tagging along. My name is Max, also known as M. Kieran, and I do writing advice videos twice a week. The Writing Advice Q&As and the Writing Advice Virtual Writing Academy, where I give you writing exercises and you get writing done. If you enjoyed this particular video, I would like to know, please consider giving it a like and leaving a comment with your future questions and suggestions for feedback. Did I do a good job? Did I ramble too much? I probably rambled too much, but hey, you know what? That's fine! That's what you get with the Max package. For the time being, I want to thank you for tagging along. If you enjoyed this video, I want to make sure that I can continue on making videos like this one for the foreseeable future. Please consider checking out Patreon. You can get cool perks like watching these videos early and getting copies of my books when they come out. For the time being, the formal outro. On the screen right now, there should be a button to subscribe. I don't know where exactly. Probably over there. A link to my Patreon, a link to my other channel with Kitty, and a big box pointing you to my writing advice playlist. I hope you check it out. For the time being, thank you for tagging along, thank you for spending a little bit of your day with me, and I hope to see you on the next one.